Let me start with something that might feel uncomfortably familiar. Have you ever made a decision that, looking back, made absolutely no sense? Like risking a lot just to avoid a small loss, but playing it safe when a big win was right there? If yes, congratulations. You have a perfectly normal human brain. Because today, we're talking about prospect theory, and it explains why risk messes with us in ways logic never could. Let's warm up with a simple scenario. You're offered two choices. Option A, you get a guaranteed $100. Option B, you flip a coin. Heads, you get $200. Tails, you get nothing. Most people choose the guaranteed 100. Now watch what happens when we flip the framing. Option A, you lose $100 for sure. Option B, you flip a coin. Heads, you lose nothing. Tails, you lose $200. Suddenly, people become risk takers. Same numbers, same probabilities, totally different behavior. Why? Because your brain doesn't see gains and losses as equals. This is the core insight of prospect theory, introduced by psychologists Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky. The idea is simple but unsettling. Losses hurt more than gains feel good. In fact, a loss feels about twice as powerful as an equivalent gain. Winning $100 feels nice. Losing $100 feels awful, and your brain remembers that pain. So instead of calculating outcomes rationally, your mind anchors everything to a reference point, what you already have, and reacts emotionally to deviations from it. This is called loss aversion, and it explains a lot. Why people hold on to losing stocks, hoping they'll bounce back. Why homeowners refuse to sell below purchase price, even when the market says they should. Why businesses keep pouring money into failing projects. Because selling, quitting, or stopping means locking in a loss, and your brain hates that. Now let's make it even stranger. The way choices are framed can completely flip your decision. Imagine a medical procedure. One doctor says, this treatment has a 90% survival rate. Another says, this treatment has a 10% mortality rate. Exact same information, but emotionally, totally different. That's the framing effect, and it's a direct extension of prospect theory. Our brains react not to facts, but how those facts are presented. Marketers know this. Politicians know this. Casinos definitely know this. And here's where prospect theory really bends your mind. When we're facing gains, we tend to avoid risk, but when we're facing losses, we chase risk. We'll gamble harder to avoid losing than we ever would to win. This is why gamblers chase losses. This is why investors double down on bad bets. This is why people stay in toxic situations longer than they should. Relationships, jobs, habits. Because leaving would mean accepting a loss. And emotionally, that feels worse than continuing to risk things getting even worse. It's like being stuck in quicksand. The more you struggle to get back to where you were, the deeper you sink. And the wild part? Your brain thinks it's protecting you. Prospect theory shows us that humans aren't irrational all the time. We're predictably irrational. Once you know the pattern, you start seeing it everywhere. Negotiations, public policy, health decisions, even personal arguments. Frame something as avoiding loss and people will support it. Frame it as gaining something new and suddenly they hesitate. So how do you use this knowledge without becoming a puppet to it? First, pause and reframe. Ask yourself, if this weren't a loss, would I still take this risk? If I saw this decision fresh, without history, what would I choose? Second, step outside your reference point. Your past investment, your time spent, your emotional attachment, they are sunk costs. They matter emotionally, but not mathematically. And finally, recognize when fear is driving the wheel. Fear of loss is powerful, but awareness weakens it. Prospect theory doesn't mean you'll never take risks again. It means you'll finally understand why you take them. And once you see that, you stop asking, what feels safer right now? And start asking, what actually makes sense? That's not just better decision-making, that's mental freedom.